It's 5 p.m. and you're watching KCRA-TV, where the news comes first. Home of Live Copter 3 and Northern California's #1 news team. This is Channel 3 Reports.
Topping the news tonight, a tragic story. Lee Taylor killed while trying to smash the world water speed record at South Lake Tahoe this morning. John Mallos has been on the scene covering the story for us all day. He's with us now in studio. John?
Well, Stan, some 800 people watching from the shores of South Lake Tahoe left the scene in total shock and disbelief. They had come there to watch a young man attempt to break the world water mark of 317.6 miles per hour. A man who had survived 2 near misses the last 16 years. Lee Taylor nearly lost his life in 1964. A terrible crash then left him in a coma for 18 days and no sight in his left eye. But that didn't stop Taylor because he was fascinated with speed. This morning he was pleased with the water conditions at Lake Tahoe, which seemed calm compared to yesterday's test run. I talked with him early this morning prior to takeoff.
What does it feel like, the speed, when you hit over 200 miles an hour, and today you're going to try and go over 317?
Well, the feeling that's generated inside myself is just the great acceleration, and I think it's just tunnel vision that my body is experiencing at the moment, that I'm really thinking about, is just the tunnel vision. It just feels maybe like I'm on a tip of an arrow that's just shot from a bow, or on the head of a bullet shot from a rifle.
Taylor's boat, a 40-foot-long U.S. Discovery II, is powered by a rocket engine. 1,000 pounds of hydrogen peroxide pushed the Discovery II to speeds of over 200 miles per hour. Taylor's plan of setting the world mark had been in the making for the last 5 years, and his boat worth $3.5 million. At 11:10 this morning, 4 hours and 10 minutes late, Taylor took his machine across Lake Tahoe. Everything seemed fine until he slowed down and the boat swerved, rolled, disintegrated, and Taylor's body sank to the bottom of the lake.
Do you have time to get scared?
No, I'm very calm and cool and relaxed, very calm.
Now he's slowing down.
And it's over fairly quick, isn't it?
Very quick. Yeah, it just feels maybe like I'm on a tip of an arrow that's just shot from a bow, or on the head of a bullet shot from a rifle.
What a tragedy.
Terrible.
What about the record? Did they break the record?
Lee Taylor did break the world record, 380 miles per hour. The previous record, 317. He was 45 years old. Authorities still have not found his body.
Was that water rougher today than they would have liked it?
No, I talked to Taylor about that earlier today, and he said he was very pleased with the water conditions considering yesterday, because yesterday he had high waves and high swells, as you know, at Lake Tahoe when it gets windy, where those swells come up 3, 4, 5 feet, and you just can't run a boat in those kind of conditions. Well, Taylor told me earlier this morning around 6:30, 7 o'clock, that he was pleased with those conditions because the water, which was much calmer, although it was very, very cold at Lake Tahoe, under 20 degrees.
Terrible tragedy.
The boat looks so fragile on that water.
Well, you can't do anything about it. When a machine breaks down, there's no human way you can stop it.
And they haven't found his body yet, as you said.
No, they haven't.
Thank you, John.
Thank you, John.
It's 6:30 p.m. and you're watching KCRA-TV, where the news comes first. Home of Live Copter 3 and Northern California's #1 news team. This is Channel 3 Reports.
Topping the news tonight, tragedy at Lake Tahoe. Speedboat pilot Lee Taylor was killed today while trying to ride his rocket-powered boat to a new world speed record. Channel 3's John Mallos and photographer Harry Sweep were at Lake Tahoe today and witnessed the accident. John is with us now in studio.
It was really a terrible ending to just a tragic story at South Lake Tahoe early this morning. Lee Taylor desperately wanted to break that world water speed record this morning at South Lake Tahoe. Well, he did it unofficially, but it cost Taylor his life. 45-year-old man was killed when his U.S. Discovery II crashed while going 380 miles per hour. That breaks the mark by 62 miles per hour unofficially. Here's how it happened.
Fire when ready, camera on. That doesn't sound good.
Now he's slowing down.
Taylor was thrilled with speed. He survived a major crash in 1964. Early this morning, about 3 hours before takeoff, I talked with Taylor.
What does it feel like, the speed, when you hit over 200 miles an hour, and today you're going to try and go over 317?
Well, the feeling that's generated inside myself is just the great acceleration, and I think it's just tunnel vision that my body is experiencing at the moment, that I'm really thinking about, is just the tunnel vision. It just feels maybe like I'm on a tip of an arrow that's just shot from a bow, or on the head of a bullet shot from a rifle.
Do you have time to get scared?
No, I'm very calm and cool and relaxed, very calm.
You know, what are you thinking about when you're in the boat?
The many things that I have to do correctly.
And it's over fairly quick, isn't it?
Very quick.
You know, I don't know what it is about speed that turns some people on, but it cost Mr. Lee Taylor his life today.
Have they found his body yet, John?
Not yet. Authorities immediately emerged on the scene with helicopters. Scuba divers went into the water to try to find his body. But I have a feeling that his body not only sank, but I think it exploded along with the boat today.
Are they going to search anyway?
I think so. They're going to try and search out that body of Lee Taylor, 45 years old. And cameraman Harry Sweet and I've been working on the story all day. We were the only Sacramento television crew on the scene. There were other news media there. There were about 800 people there, and Taylor's mother was on the scene. His wife was there, some of his kids. So it was really a tragic event.
Okay, thank you, John, for the report.
Topping the news tonight, searchers are still looking for the body of 45-year-old Lee Taylor, who was killed yesterday when his powerboat crashed suddenly at Lake Tahoe.
John Malice just returned from the South Shore a while ago. He's standing by right now in our newsroom for an update. John, what do you have?
Well, Stan and Kitey, searchers believe that Taylor's body is certainly somewhere in the cold waters of South Lake Tahoe, but they are hoping that his body did not go too far down because they might never find it. 15 scuba divers were on the scene with one barge and 3 boats early this morning. The divers are using television cameras to scan the deep water. And although no one knows exactly how deep this lake really is, its depths vary from 110 to 500 feet. Divers fear if he dropped below that one ledge that goes near the bottom of the lake, Taylor may be gone for good. Doug Helzen heads the search team, and the former sheriff's officer has had a lot of experience in this area. They're combing this circled area right here, 1 mile off the shore of Zephyr's Cove. So far, they have found nothing. Doug, what are the chances of finding Lee Taylor's body right now?
Well, I don't really want to get into the speculation on what our chances are. I do know we are working very hard, and if he's out there in that area and we can find him, we're going to get him. There have been other incidents where we have not found people out here. It's going to depend on the circumstances, what happened to him when that craft broke up.
Is it possible, since part of the boat disintegrated, that perhaps his body also disintegrated?
The parts of the craft that have disintegrated do not include the cockpit that we've been able to find yet, so we're going to wait and see before we make that determination.
The biggest mystery remains why this crash occurred. Roy Segal, Taylor's cousin and the president of the U.S. Discovery 2, says he doesn't know what happened. Now we've got to rush and put this thing back. All right, now I had heard a rumor that yesterday some of the crew members, including Jim Williams, had told Lee Taylor not to go out on that day because there was something wrong with the boat. Do you know anything about that?
Well, that is, to my knowledge, that is absolutely not true, and the water was much better. The day before, we realized there was some discussion on the run before about the water being a little rough, but the water looked good to everybody yesterday.
As far as you know,
nothing wrong with the boat.
As far as you know, there was nothing wrong with the boat?
Absolutely nothing wrong with the boat.
Well, searchers may never find Lee Taylor's body, 45 years old, dead yesterday of that crash, and also they may never find out why that crash occurred. Well, a Placer County man who knew Lee Taylor has designed his own rocket-powered boat, and he plans to run sometime this year. The boat has not been tested under power, but Channel 3's Otis Turner says the owner plans to break the speed record, the world speed record in the quarter mile at more than 203 miles per hour.
Lee Taylor and Lee Mize had the same first names and the same passion for going fast on water.
Well, we certainly wish Lee Mize a lot more luck than what Lee Taylor had yesterday at South Lake Tahoe. And you know, a very interesting note, Stan and Kitey, 5 out of the last 6 world record holders in the speedboat racing have died of crashes. Lee Taylor, the latest one.
Oh, terrible record. Terrible. Thank you, John. John Mallows reporting from our newsroom on that terrible tragedy at Lake Tahoe.
Back on Earth, a tragedy at high speed on Lake Tahoe. We get details on that now from John Mallows of KCRA-TV.
Lee Taylor wanted to break the world water speed record at 317.6 miles per hour. He had told friends that after his mission was completed here at Lake Tahoe, he wanted to break the speed of sound. Taylor was simply fascinated with speed, although he wouldn't admit it. He had held the world record for 11 years before losing his title to Australian Ken Warby 2 years ago.
Fire when ready, camera on. That doesn't sound good.
Seconds after his Discovery 2, powered by a rocket engine, took off, it slowed down, then rolled, disintegrated, and Taylor's body plunged to the bottom of the lake. Rescue teams failed to find his body, but recovered his helmet and 3 sections of the boat. Lee Taylor died at the age of 45, not knowing that he had failed to get that world record. John Mallows for NBC News, Lake Tahoe.